Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, 13th November 2019. I am Yvette Bones with the details. Government today signed a Memorandum of Understanding with India for the quick impact projects which seek to improve the lives of the poor in SVG. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves signed on behalf of the government of SVG, while India's visiting High Commissioner to Suriname, His Excellency Mahendra Singh Kanel, signed on behalf of his country. PM Gonsalves said that the quick impact projects will assist communities in dire need of assistance on a short-term basis.
Small projects which can bring quick results, not a long gestation period, which would help to lift the condition of life and living for people in one area or the other, and I want to thank the government of India for this very thoughtful gesture. Particular Prime Minister Modi, who is a man who has a pulse on the people, and like me, we have a profound commitment to helping the poor, the marginalized, and those who suffer from any particular hardship or discrimination.
India's High Commissioner, His Excellency Kanel, said that there is more in store for SVG as other cooperation agreements were signed by the Prime Minister on his recent visit to India. One of the agreements is for an exchange program which he said can start immediately once the government of SVG indicates what expertise they are interested in.
Would be happy to send an expert here for any specific training needs which can contribute to the capacity building, as also to invite executives from here to India again for its specific training needs. Besides, Excellency, we can also have e-ITech, which means training through video conferencing in any field required by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The High Commissioner said SVG will also benefit from a credit line of $14 million offered to CARICOM countries by the Indian government at the recently held UN General Assembly.
During that meeting, Prime Minister Modi had made a few announcements which include a grant of $14 million for the CARICOM member states, and also a line of credit of $150 million for the member states of CARICOM, which can be utilized for projects concerning solar, renewable energy, and climate change.
The relationship between SVG and India was underscored at today's signing ceremony as one that continues to strengthen. The Indian High Commissioner, who is accompanied by his wife, is expected to leave the state on Friday to return to Paramaribo, Suriname, where the High Commission office is based. SVG is one of 5 Caribbean countries participating in the Caribbean Youth Environment Network Clean Seas campaign. This campaign is geared towards reducing marine litter, which is a global concern affecting all the oceans of the world, including right here in the Caribbean. Coordinator of Cyan, Clonisha Romeo, told SVG-TV News that the campaign started in September and is expected to boost SVG's tourism product and at the same time educate the public about marine littering and the role they can play to help protect the marine environment.
Garbage that St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are a tourism destination, and we also focus a lot on the sea, especially in the Grenadines, and the health of our oceans is extremely important. So we try our best to do what we can to reduce the effects of marine litter on the environment in itself. We just started this launch, and it will go on for a short while, probably until the end of the year, because it's just the initial, the pilot project for it now. So after the success of this phase, then we know exactly how far we can go along with it. Because we did some social media campaigns as well, where we also putting out there the ways in which you can reduce litter.
Under the Caribbean Clean Seas campaign, several cleanup activities have been held at beaches on mainland St. Vincent and in the Grenadines, with over 100 bags of garbage collected.
In September, we collected over 182 bags of garbage. A lot of plastic bottles, disposable containers, even things such as old engines, nets, fishing nets, ropes, those kind of items that was found. So through this campaign, we're able now to publicize to the public of how we can now reduce marine litter in St. Vincent. The government has already had a ban on styrofoam containers, which is a plus and it's a good start already. But now through this campaign, we are now able to do a lot more.
Romeo said the campaign has been well supported by the youth and that it is her hope that they will continue to do their part to keep the coastal and marine environment clean even after the campaign comes to an end sometime next year.
In the cleanup that we had previously, we had schools involved, and we have students who are already stating that they're going to put bins in their classrooms, so in that way they will reduce the amount of litter that they actually enter into the school environment. And we also have different environmental clubs as well that are getting on board, trying their best to see exactly how they can start the education and awareness from a young age in the schools. And from there, it enters into the home, because once your child comes home and says, oh, today I learned that, oh, I should use a reusable bottle instead of keep buying water to go to school. That way now we know less plastic is entering into the environment. We try now to use a container when you're carrying lunch instead of trying to use a Ziploc plastic bag, because at the end of the day, you're going to throw it away. So these are small changes that already start happening, and with one small change can make a bigger difference in the end.
The Christian Coalition of SVG, which is a group made up of several local churches, will be holding a march and rally tomorrow to highlight what they say are national issues of social and moral concern under the theme, A Call to Righteousness, Calling Our Nation to God. The Christian body says it is time to speak up against the challenge to the country's buggery and gross indecency laws, as well as crime, rape, and domestic violence.
We are using 2 points. The girls' high school, that bus stop that is close to the girls' high school, one group will meet there, and then there is another at Little Tokyo. And so we're going to make 2 stops in between, and then a final stop at the courthouse where we want to pray. After that, we will go to Heritage Square where we would have a rally there, and so we are hoping to start that rally around 12:30.
Calling all Christians, we're calling the Vincentian public to support on Thursday the 14th of November 2019 our march and rally, a call to righteousness, calling the nation back to God. And we believe, as Proverbs 14:34 says, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Let us let righteousness exalt St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and let us pray that sin will no longer be a reproach to our nation.
Meanwhile, one of the 2 persons challenging the country's buggery and gross indecency laws, Sean McLeish, describes tomorrow's planned event as unfortunate and anti-equality. During a telephone interview, McLeish said the country's buggery laws are against all human rights, which include those of the LGBTQ community, and should not be allowed.
It's unfortunate that a group of churches are planning an anti-equality protest march, which is an affront to the realization of social inclusion for all citizens, regardless of sexual orientation. Their position is against international law to protect the human rights of all citizens, a global community that SVG is a part of and needs. This is especially poignant since our record celebrated seat on the United Nations Security Council this year. People should not have to live in fear of or subjugation to their fellow human beings because of sexual orientation. And I am a proud gay Vincentian man, and my sexual orientation should not nullify my human rights, the same rights that other heterosexual people claim for themselves.
The claimant said SVG has the opportunity to show the world, through a court ruling in their favor, that it upholds the protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, which is the most recent resolution adopted by the UN Human Rights Council. He added that it is not about if SVG is ready for inclusion and that it is within his right to champion a cause like SVG's national hero, Joseph Shattey.
This is an issue that will be decided by the courts. It's not actually a referendum or a popularity contest. So my battle is actually in the court system, not with people, how they feel or about the case. These discriminatory colonial anti-gay laws have no place in a free and equal society. They should not be allowed to occupy space and power in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to marginalize people like me. I am proud to follow the legacy of Chatoyer, our great Garifuna national hero, who fought for freedom for his First Nation people of Hairuna.
Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of 65-year-old farmer Roy Nichols. Nichols' body was discovered around 9 a.m. today in a vehicle on a property in the Queens Drive area. The police say no foul play is suspected at this time and that an autopsy will be carried out to determine the cause of death. The North Union Secondary School and the St. Vincent Grammar School both took top spots in this year's NTRC 784I Code competition. The finale and prize-giving ceremony took place yesterday afternoon at the Methodist Church Hall in Kingstown. The North Union Secondary School, represented by the group NUSS Conquerors 2, took the top position in the secondary school's idea category, with Astra of the St. Vincent Grammar School in second place and the Union Island Secondary School's UISS geoplacing third. In the secondary school's mobile application category, the group Astra of the St. Vincent Grammar Schools secured the top spot, with the St. Joseph's Convent Kingstown's TMABF coming in second and the Mountain View Adventist Academy's S4 Coders taking the third position. In the open category, KNR took the top spot with We Are Here placing second and First Contact in third. The Girls High School had the most entries in this year's competition. Here's a snippet of the unique ideas and mobile applications.
So, back to the menu section. You have various things such as top destination to La Soufrière volcano, that view falls of Belanine, experience in Vincent, all the stuff that we have in St. Vincent, Palau, historical gardens, cultural festivals, then there's things to do, carnival, explore, hiking. Then there's also a section where you can plan a trip to St. Vincent and also within St. Vincent and Grenadines. There's also a section for hotels and restaurants if you're hungry. So entering the restaurant section, you'll be greeted by this. You have various restaurants aloft as well as the description of it. And if the restaurant has a menu, the button will come up to give you that option. So when you click it, you'll be given the menu for that restaurant.
Vincent and Grenadines. Let's say, for example, you want to find out the primary schools located at Beckway. You go to the search bar, you simply type in Beckway, enter. Beckway. Then we'll use Arab Primary as an example for now. Here you have, after, you have the grades. Let's use grade 5. And after grade 5, you have grade 5's book list. And then we'll click on English language. And here you have where the book is found at all the bookstores. As you can see, Games Book Center has the cheapest price. And after you already click Games Bookstore, there comes up a picture of the book, of the required text, the title, the author, the edition, the phone number, and the GPS.
Theatre arts is an avenue for the nation's youth to showcase their talent and creativity, and the coordinator of the secondary school's drama festival, Martin Kwashi, is encouraging more schools to participate in the festival. Kwashi's comments came at last evening's opening of this year's festival at the Peace Memorial Hall. So far, 13 schools have signed up to take part in this year's festival. Kwashi says while some schools have drama as part of their syllabus, they do not take part in the school's drama festival and expressed disappointment with their lack of participation.
And some of these schools do not even take part in the drama festival. Shame, shame on you. They don't even take, so that the students can get a practical knowledge of what theater is. What is the use of you saying you're teaching theater arts practical and, theoretically, and then they can't do the practical? Shame on you. You're supposed to do the practical because that's how people see you as a dramatist. That's how people recognize you as an actor. Not write down fancy thing for me, because I will not be impressed. You have to do it naturally. So if you're, and I want this message to go to the secondary schools too. If you know you're involved in a theater arts program and you only want to nice up the people and with fancy words and things, forget about it. Theater is live and is living, and it's supposed to be very practical as well as the theoretical. Okay? Because you can't become a good actor if you just sit down and read literature books every day and you're not going on stage and perform. People must see you perform. So that's the practical part of it. When you're building sets, you're doing set designs, you're doing lighting, you're writing plays and all that. So it's very important that we take this thing very seriously and go forward.
He also called on the Ministry of Education to put the necessary structures in place to ensure the sustainability of the festival.
I'm not pleased with what is happening now in the secondary school drama festival. Too many of the schools are calling, so they're interested. Too many of them are dropping out for simple things, such as sometimes a child didn't come to practice today. The teacher call and say, "Kwashi, me drop out." Just so. That cannot work. If we have to have a secondary school drama festival, for the sustainability of the festival, there needs to be things put in place by the Ministry of Education, the Department of Culture, and the secondary schools. So that have to be put in place so that you have a sustained secondary school drama festival. Otherwise, you just find them just dropping out, and then it would come to an end. And I don't like that. And I'm telling you now, and if you do a close-up on my face, you'll see that I'm not pleased, I'm not happy with what is happening.
Kwashi said along with developing the talents of the youth, theatre arts is a vehicle to create disciplined men and women of tomorrow.
Lots of students who have attended secondary schools and take part in a drama festival, they have excelled, and some of them have big jobs now because of the confidence and what they have achieved from being in the secondary school drama festival. And I would meet them all the time, and they would tell me, "Yeah, Kwashi, I thank the teachers on the secondary schools for making me part of the festival, because if that wasn't for that, then I would not have the confidence that I have now. I would not have the boldness that I have now. I would not be able to speak properly like how I am speaking now if it was not for the involvement in the secondary school drama festival." So I urge everyone in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the parents, the Ministry of Education, who has responsibility for the schools, and also the Department of Culture, let's do these things together and make sure that drama and theater survive in the secondary school. We are trying to get the young ones disciplined, not just to do a play on stage, but discipline so that they can become better men and women of tomorrow.
The preliminary round of judging of the festival will run until November 21st, and the finals will be held on Wednesday, November 27th, where awards will be given out to students for outstanding performances during the preliminary round of judging.